Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So right now we are on the the child and adolescent development and facilitating learning. This is a long discussion. So bear with me. If I can do it in part one, I'll be making it as a part two, part three, for us to cover all of the what's inside in the child and adolescent development and facilitating learning. And some of the discussion was already discussed in the professional education, especially in the major learning theory. Without further ado, let us start our discussion. Child and adolescent development and facilitating learning. We have here first we need to discuss is the growth. Growth is the measurable change in a person's body as they get older. It includes increases in height, weight, and body size, showing how body naturally develops over time. So when we say growth, it's all about the um observable changes in our body, like for example the height, the weight, and the body size. Growth refers to the physical changes that occur in a person's body as they mature. So this includes things like becoming taller, gaining weight, and increasing in overall body size. So these changes happen naturally as a person ages and their body develops. So again, the growth, it's all about the observable changes happening in our body. So we have here an example. A child who grows several inches taller over the course of a year is experiencing growth. Similarly, a teenager gaining muscle mass and weight as they go through puberty is another example of growth. So, when we talk about growth, it's all about the observable, measurable changes that happen as a part of normal development. So, growth is observable and measurable. And now let's go to development. So development means that changes in a person's skills, abilities, and behavior as they grow older. So these changes help a person become more mature and ready for life. Development happens in an organized and natural order. For example, a baby first learn to crawl, then stand, and then later walk. So these are steps in their development. So develop when we say development, it is a changes in person. It is a while ago growth, it's all about the measurable or observable changes. When it talks about development, it is a person's skills, abilities, and behaviors. Development is about the changes in a person's skills, abilities, emotions, and behavior as they grow. So it's not just about it is not about just getting bigger, but also about learning new things and becoming more mature. Development happens in a natural and organized way, which is a step by step process. So we have here other example. For development, a baby first learns to lift their head, then to sit, then to crawl, stand, and finally walk. And then later, they learn how to talk, read, and make friends. So these are examples of development, changes in abilities and behavior as persons grow. So development, it is an observable behavior or an observable changes in the person's And then we have factors influencing growth and development. We have maturation, which is nature, and we have also environmental influences, which is the nurture. And when we talk about maturation, this is nature or natural. So this is the natural growth and traits a person inherits from their parents through heredity. So it includes physical features and natural abilities that happens on their own as a person's grow. So maturation, this is a natural growth that you can able to get it from your heredity from your parents. And we have here the example. A child may naturally be tall like their father or have curly hair like their mother. So some children may also naturally have a talent for singing or drawing because it runs in the family. So maturation, it is a natural growth that it comes from the heredity or from your. Next we have environmental influences or the nurture. So this is about the surroundings, experiences and people around persons as they grow. It includes family, friends, schools, food, and culture, all of which shape how a person behaves, feels, and learns. So, a while ago, we talked about maturation, which is the natural. So, maturation, it's all about the unseen traits of a person. And this maturation, it's all about internal or the hereditary or the genes. When it comes to the environmental influences, this is external influence that could able to influence the child's behavior, the child's life. Externally influences like family, friends, how family treat certain, how a family treat a child, how friends, school, food, and culture. So all of this can able to help shape, or all of this can able to have a bigger factor in child's development. And we have here an example. A child who grows up in a loving and supportive home and attends a good school may develop good manners, confidence, and learning skills. On the other hand, a child raised in a harsh environment might struggle with trust and emotions. And that is like 80% accurate, because right now you can observe when a child grows in a broken family, sometimes there are high tendencies that their behavior as well, there is like what they call this one, there are difference in their behavior, unlike to those child who grow or who is raised in a complete family. So maturation, this is the natural growth that it comes to your parents, your heredity, your genes, and nurture or environmental influences. This is an external factor, okay? Like for example, in your family, friends, and etc. Now, in short, the maturation or the nature, what we are born with. And then the environment or the nurture, that is what we learn from the world around us. So we have the characteristic of development. We have development follows a predictable or orderly sequence. So number two, it includes patterns like cephalocaudal and proximodistal. Number three, each individual's rates of development is unique. Number four, early development stages are more critical than later ones. Number five, development results from both maturation and learning. Number six, it's interconnected across various domains. So let us discuss first the development follows a predictable, orderly sequence. So this is people develop skills in a set of order one after another. So, like for example, the baby first learns to lift their head, then sit, then crawl, then stand, and finally walk. So, the development of a child, it comes from orderly sequence, a predictable. So, um, you can know what will be the next development of a certain child. Number two, we have development that follows separate patterns like cephalocaudal and proximodistal. So when we say cephalocaudal, this is development happens from head to toe. So cephalocaudal, it starts from the head and then it goes down to the toe. For example, babies can move their head before they can able to walk. And then when we talk about proximodistal, so this is development happens from the center of the body outwards. What does it mean? We have examples. Babies learn to move their shoulders before hands and hands before fingers. So cephalocaudal, it starts from head to until the toe. And then proximodistal, it happens from the center of the body and then outwards. Okay? Cephalocaudal from head to toe, and then proximodistal from center, then outward. Next, we have each individual's rate of development is unique. So, no two people grow or develop at the same speed or at the same at the same time. So we don't need, or we are not, what do you call this one? We are not allowed to compare each individual because each individual is unique. Okay, we have here an example. One child may start talking at 1 year old while another might start at 18 months, and both are normal. So we cannot able to differentiate, or we cannot able to generalize if the baby will talk late, that is abnormal, that is still normal. Okay, there are some child that is advanced when it comes of talking, and there are times that the child are late. Okay, however, both of them are not normal. It is because each individual or each child has different development. Okay, next, we have early development stages are more critical than later ones. This is very critical. It is because the first year of life are very important because they build the foundation for future skills. Early development, it is very crucial, it's very critical because it can able to influence or affect the entire lives of a person. For example, learning to trust caregivers as a baby helps a child feel safe and growing up secure growing up. Number five, we have development happens because of both maturation and learning. So, natural growth or maturation and life experiences, which is the learning, can able to work together, which is nurture and nature and nurture. Both of them can able to work together to have a development, to have growth in our body. So natural growth, the nature and the nurture, they are so development happens because of both maturation and learning. So natural growth, which is the maturation, and life experiences, which is the learning, this is they all work together. Okay, like for example, a child's brains matures, allowing them to speak, but they also need to hear language around them to learn words. Okay. Number six, we have development is interconnected across different areas. What does it mean? So, all parts of development, which is physical, mental, emotional, and social, they are all connected and affect one another. Example: a child who is sick physically might feel sad as they can, which is emotional, and not want to play with others. That is social. So both of them are connected to each other, which is physical, mental, emotional, and social. And we have domains of development. We have physical development, social or emotional development, and language development. First, physical development. This includes the gross motor development, involves a large muscles like legs and arms. And then physical development has two. So there are two parts of physical developments. There are gross motor and also fine motor. So gross motor development involves large muscles like legs and arms. And then fine motor, this is development includes smaller muscles like in the hands, fingers, and coordination. So the gross motor that is can be found in the legs and arms, while the fine motor can be found in hands and fingers. Okay, gross motor is the large muscles, and then fine motor, that is the smaller muscle. And now we have social or emotional development. So this involves self concept, self esteem, and relationship building. Now we have language development. So this framework guides understanding of how children and adolescents grows and learn, crucial effective teaching and nurturing. So first, let us discuss the physical development. So this is about this is about how a child's body grows and how they learn to move. So we have gross motor skills and fine motor skills. So gross motor skills involves a large muscles which can be found in the legs, arms, and torso. While the fine motor skills, it involves a smaller muscles which can be found in the hand, fingers, lips, and tongue. Number two, social and emotional development. So, this development of self concept, self esteem, managing emotions, and building relationship. Also, it focuses on how children understand themselves and others, manage their feelings, and build a relationship. And also, it includes things like learning to share, making friends, feeling proud of achievements, and knowing how to handle being sad or upset. So, we have here an example: a child saying, "I can do it." It shows self confidence, while giving a hug to a friend shows empathy. So that it involves social and emotional development. Now we have language development. So this is how children learns to communicate through words, sounds, gestures, and eventually reading and writing. So language development involves speech, producing sounds or articulations, and voice quality. Language is a language, there are parts of language which is receptive language, expressive language. So language composed of receptive language, which is the understanding or comprehending spoken language. Also expressive language. So this is being able to communicate This being able to communicate thoughts and ideas using language. And language connects a child to the world, helps express feelings, ask questions, and learn new things. So, language is very important for a child's development. And why these domains matter together? It is because these areas don't grow separately. They support each other. So a child who learns to talk, which is the language, can make friends, which is social, which makes them happy, that is emotional, and might lead to more active play, and that is physical. So all of these domains will work together. So as a parents, teachers, and caregivers, knowing these domains help us understand what a child needs at every stage, so we can guide, support, and celebrate their growth properly. So, as a parents, teachers, and caregivers, it is important to know these domains for us to guide, support the child, to support the child's development. Number four, we have cognitive or intellectual development. So we have cognitive or intellectual development. So this is all about how a child think, learns, and makes sense of the world around them. So it includes thinking, problem solving, organizing information, using logic, concentrating, imagining, and using symbols. So cognitive, it's all about intellectual. And thinking and problem solving. So like figuring out how to stack blocks without them falling. And then while organizing information and using logic. So this is like sorting toys by color or shape, or deciding which snack to eat first. So the child here can able to organize information and using logic. And then focusing and concentrating. So like listening to a story or completing a simple puzzle. While imagining and using symbols, this is like pretending a stick is a sword or drawing a smiley face to show happiness. And important note that the language and thinking skills grow together. So as a child learns new words, they're able to express their ideas and understand more about world. For example, a toddler who knows the word hot will think twice before touching a cup of coffee. Now we are on the developmental task. So this is based on Robert Havergurst, which is in the year 1972. For him, a developmental task is a challenge or milestones that typically appears at a se- typically appears as at typically appears at a certain stage of life. For him, success in achieving it leads to happiness and prepares a person for future tasks. And then, while on the other hand, failure may lead to unhappiness, social disapproval, and struggles with later tasks. So, for him, if a child was able to success for a certain task, it can lead to happy moments. While on the other hand, if failure to do so, it can lead to unhappiness and then struggles with later tasks. So, a developmental task is a skill, a challenge, or responsibility that a person is expected to learn or accomplish at a certain stage of life. It's like a milestone we're naturally expected to reach as we grow. And why it matters? Because when a person successfully complete a task, it leads to happiness, confidence, and makes it easier to handle for future tasks. While on the other hand, if someone fails to complete it, It may cause unhappiness, struggles, or social disapproval, and can make future challenges harder to face. Example: a toddler learning to walk is a developmental task. If they succeed, they gain confidence and freedom. And if delayed, they might struggle with joining games or making friends later. Next example: a, teen, a teenager learning to build friendships and understand emotions is also a developmental task. Success makes them socially healthy and ready for adult relationships. So, in short, developmental tasks are life's natural to do list, and each age has its own important lesson to master. Now we are on the stages of human development. Number one is the prenatal period, which is conception to birth. This is from a single cell to a fully formed baby with a brain and body system. And sex and hereditary traits are established. So sex and hereditary traits are established. So during this conception to birth, it can able to establish the gender. For example, if it's male or female on the 6 months or 5 months, maybe like earlier than that. So, prenatal period, again, it is conception to birth. So, this is the very first stage of life, which starting from the moment of a baby is conceived until birth. And it begins with a tiny single cell that grows and develops into a fully formed baby with a heart, brain, and complete body system. Important details that, like gender, sex of a it's either a boy or a girl, and hereditary traits like eye color, hair type, or height are decided at the moment of conception. It's the period where all the basic structure of the body are formed and the baby prepares for life outside the womb. So in short, the prenatal period is the amazing beginning of life, from one cell to a beautiful fully developed baby which is ready to be born. And then there are periods of prenatal stage. First is a germinal period, which is first 2 weeks after conceptions. So these are the creation of the zygote. Next, rapid cell division, attachment of the zygote to the uterine wall, and then the baby has an important part. We have the blastocyst and the trophoblast. The child has an important part, which it has a blastocyst and a trophoblast. Blastocyst, this is inner layer of cells and becomes the embryo. Trophoblast, this is the outer layer, provides nutrition and support. And we have also germinal period, which is first 2 weeks after conception. So this is the very beginning of life, right after conceptions. And what happens here is a zygote or a single cell is formed when the egg and sperm meet. The zygote divides rapidly into many cells and then travels through the fallopian tube toward the uterus. And then around the end of 2 weeks, the zygote attaches itself to the wall of the uterus, which is a very important step for pregnancy to continue. And then the important part again, we have the blastocyst, which is the inner group of cell that will eventually become the baby. This is called embryo in the next stage. This is called an embryo in the next stage. And then we have also the trophoblast, which is the outer group of cells that provides nutrition and support to the growing blastocyst. And it helps form the placenta, which feeds and protects the baby. So in short, The germinal period is like nature's setup stage, from one tiny cell to a growing ball of cells, getting ready to safely settle in the mother's womb. Number two, we have embryonic period. It consists from 2 to 8 weeks after conception. Embryonic period from 2 to 8 weeks after conceptions, and this is the foundation of life. The embryonic period. The zygote transforms into an embryo, marking the beginning of highly dynamic and critical stage of development. Rapid cell differentiation occurs where unspecialized cells begin to take where unspecialized cells begin to take on specific roles within the body. And this period witnesses the formations of vital life support systems such as the placenta and the umbilical cord, and the development of major body organs. So, embryonic period, this is the foundation of life. And we have organogenesis. So, organogenesis refers to the essential process of organ formation during the first 2 months of prenatal development. It lays the groundwork for all bodily structure that will continue to mature in later stages. And also, there are three primary germ layers. So as the embryo forms, so there are three primary germ layers. As the embryo forms, it develops into three distinct layers of cells, each destined to become specific systems in the body. So we have endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. When we say endoderm, this is the inner layer, which develops into the digestive system, respiratory system, and other internal organs like the liver and pancreas. So endoderm, the inner layer, this is the digestive system, respiratory system, and other internal organ. We have also the mesoderm, or the middle layer. So this layer gives rise to the muscles, bones, circulatory system, excretory system, and reproductive system. Endoderm, that is internal organ, while mesoderm, this is the middle layer, which is involves muscle, bone, circulatory system, excretory system, and reproductive system. And we have also ectoderm, which is the outer layer. So it forms the skin, hair, nails, brain, spinal cord, and the nervous system. So endoderm, inner layer, consists of internal organs. Mesoderm, which is the middle layer, it consists of muscle, bone, circulatory system, excretory system, and reproductive system. While ectoderm, this is the outer layer, which is the skin, hair, nails, brain, spinal cord, and the nervous system. So the prenatal stage. Prenatal stage, this is refers to the period. This is refers to the period before birth. So the time a woman is pregnant and carrying her baby inside her womb. And there are prenatal development, which is the one we discussed a while ago, the three layers of embryo, which is we have ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So endoderm, that is inner layer, inner organ, mesoderm, the middle layer, ectoderm, and the outer. So the ectoderm becomes the brain, nervous system, sensors, receptors, and skin. And then the mesoderm, middle layer, develops into the circulatory, skeletal, muscular, excretory, and reproductive system. While endoderm, on the other hand, it forms the digestive and respiratory system. And also we have three life support system for the embryo. We have placenta, umbilical cord, and amnion. Placenta, this is a disc-shaped organ where mothers and the baby's blood vessels intertwine without mixing to exchange nutrients and waste. So the placenta is a disc-shaped organs where there is the connection of a mother and the baby's blood vessels to exchange the nutrients and waste. And then umbilical cord, it contains two arteries and one vein connecting the baby to the placenta. And then amnion, that is a protective sac filled with clear fluid where the baby floats. So placenta, let me show you the placenta. Hold on. So this is the placenta. This is the placenta where so this is the placenta, this one. So this is a disc shaped organ where the mother's and the baby blood vessels intertwine without mixing to exchange nutrients and waste. This one is the placenta. And the umbilical cord, this one. Hold on. This is the umbilical cord that contains two arteries and one vein connecting to baby. So umbilical cord, this one, it contains two arteries and one vein connecting the baby to the placenta. It connects to the placenta. And also we have amnion. It is the protective, this one. This is the amnion, the white one. Hold on. So this is the amnion, this one, the transparent. This one is the amnion, protective sac filled with clear fluid where the body floats, where the baby floats. So amnion is a protective sac filled with the clear fluid where the baby floats. So the water in the the water in the or the liquid in the amnion, inside the amnion where baby floats, that is called amniotic fluid. Next, we have the period of prenatal development. We have the germinal period, embryonic period, and fetal period. So germinal period, this is first 2 weeks, which are zygote creation, cell division, and attachment to the uterine wall. And embryonic period, this is 2 to 8 weeks. This is a major organ begin to form and then support system develop. Fetal period, which is 2 months to birth. This is the dramatic growth organ mature for survival outside the womb. Next, we have postnatal development stages. First is the infancy, which is birth to 2 weeks. So this is the shortest development of stage. So infant this time are extremely helpless. Postnatal developments where infant this is an infancy. Postnatal development stages. Infancy birth to 2 weeks. This is the shortest developmental stage. Infant here is extremely helpless. And then there are subdivision, which is partunate period and neonate period. Partunate, this is from birth to cutting and tying of the umbilical cord. Neonate period, this is from the umbilical cord cut to the end of the second postnatal week. And then we have also the babyhood, which is second week to 2 years. So this is decreasing dependency as baby gains body control. Babyhood skills. They can able to have a hand skills, leg skills. And a pre-speech forms, which is crying, cooing, babbling, gesturing. And then the ability to form early friendships. So the babyhood, the baby can able to have the baby will be dependent the baby will gain dependent as they gain body control, and then they have skills like hand skills, leg skills, and then can able to have pre-speech forms like they can able to communicate like crying, cooing, bubbling, and gesturing, and they can able to form early friendships. Early childhood. So this is 2 to 6 years. And early childhood, known as the preschool years. So pre-gang, exploratory, and questioning age. So during this stage, the child has a lot of questions. And it comes with a rapid language acquisition and early reasoning. First experiences of socialization. And we have developmental task, which is ages 0 to 6 years old. So infancy and early childhood. So they will able to learn how the child has a learning to the child learns to crawl and walk, learning to eat solid food, learning to eat solid food, learning to talk, learning to control elimination of body waste, learning sex differences and modesty, getting ready to read, forming concepts and describing the social or physical world through language. We have also the middle and late childhood, age 6 to 12 years old. So this stage has psychosocial stage, which is industry versus inferiority. So this is known as the gang and creativity age. Development development of self-help skills, social skills, school skills, and play skills. And this stage, child has the mastery of fundamental skills like reading, writing, arithmetic, and also they have formal exposure to society's culture, and then achievement and self-control become central themes. And then the developmental tasks for this stage, they will able to learn physical skills for games and activities. They were able to get along with peers. They were able to build a positive self image, learning appropriate masculine or feminine roles, developing everyday concepts for living, forming conscience, morality, and value system, gaining personal independence, developing attitudes towards social groups and institutions. Now we have adolescence. It age from 12 to 18 years old. So this is the transition age from childhood to adulthood, and it marked by rapid physical changes like height, weight, body shape, sexual characteristic. And during adolescence, they will be able to focus on independence and identity. Then thinking becomes like more logical, abstract, and idealistic. And this time, they have a social life extends beyond family. So it's time for them to have a lot of friends. And then the developmental task for adolescents, they can able to form mature relationship with peers of both sexes. They can able to accept and effectively using one's body, establishing a masculine or feminine social rule, achieving emotional independence from parents, preparing for marriage and family life, developing a value system and ethical standards, and learning socially responsible behavior. And now we have also early adulthood, which is aging from 19 years old to 29 years old. So this one also called the adjustment age, which to new roles and life patterns. So they were able to establish personal and economic independence. Also, they have the career development and role as a spouse, parents, forming intimate relationships, starting a family, and civic engagement. So, this is in early adulthood. And then the developmental task for early adulthood, they will be able to select a life partner, learning to live with partners, starting and raising a family, managing a home, beginning a career, participating in a civic and community life, building and satisfying social circle. And now we have the middle adulthood. This is aging from 30 years old to 60 years old. So this is a transition. This is a transition period, transition age with adjustment to early physical and mental changes. Increasing personal, social, and civic responsibilities. In middle adulthood, the person has an increased personal, social, and civic responsibilities. They were able to help the next generation grow into capable, responsible adults. And also, they are seeking for fulfillment in a career, family, and community involvement. And then the developmental task for middle adulthood, they are able to achieve social and civic responsibility. They are able to maintain a satisfying career, adjusting to physical changes and mental shifts, finding a personal meaning in life's middle years, reaching and maintaining satisfactory performance in one's occupational career, developing adult leisure time activities, relating oneself to one's spouse as a person, to accept and adjust to the physiological changes of middle age, and adjusting to aging parents. And now we are on the late adulthood. Age 61 years old and above. So this time, the person has a time for reflection. Hold on. So in late adulthood, it's time for a reflection, a judge. So in late adulthood, it is a time for reflection, adjustment, and graceful aging. This stage invites us to look back at life, retire from professional roles, and find joy in a new routines and relationships. And the developmental task in late adulthood, so adjusting to decreased physical strength and stamina, coping with retirement and reduced income, dealing with the loss of a spouse and close loved ones, finding connection and belonging with peers in the same life stage, adopting new flexible social rules, and creating a comfortable, safe, and nurturing living space. OMG. So Eric Erickson will be discussing this one by tomorrow. I'm so so we'll be discussing this one tomorrow. So stay tuned and thank you.